Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being a short man, he could not because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. Pastor Jeff here, back in my neighborhood. Today my neighborhood includes the Celebration Sanctuary, and we're using our new streaming and recording technology for the very first time. Today I want to tell you about something that very few Lutherans know. In 1521, as a wedding gift to his favorite minister and college professor, Frederick the Wise turned over the keys to a former Augustinian monastery to Dr. Martin Luther. This became Luther's home. He and his wife Katie raised their children there. And he would entertain people at his table, students and traveling dignitaries, theologians and faculty members at the University of Wittenberg. Luther had a very large dinner table, and it was always full of family and students and faculty. Luther was never at a loss for words, and he would hold court at the dinner table. Eventually, his students realized that the things that Luther was saying were noteworthy, and they began to write down the things that he said. At one point, Katie, his wife, actually quipped that they should charge tuition at the table for all the teaching that Dr. Martin did there. Those dinner conversations were collected into a unique piece of literature called Table Talk. It gives us great insight into Luther's life and his theology. He was a theologian of the people. He really had an interest in the people's lives. He had no interest in the ivory towers of academia. He was interested in the people of God and bringing God's word to bear on their lives. And we can see that when we read Table Talk. Well, I just had a Table Talk moment in my life. An old friend was traveling across the country from Michigan to Oregon, and he sent me a message and he asked if he could stay with us overnight. We had not seen our friend for 26 years. That's a long time, even for old dogs like us. My friend's name is Reed. He's a retired pastor with whom I worked during my Michigan years. He showed up in my front yard yesterday with an old red work truck with 320,000 miles on it, toting a dirt bike, headed to a place on the Oregon coast called the Oregon Backcountry Trail, or some such thing. And he was planning on riding his dirt bike for hundreds of miles and camping along the way. Reed is an old coyote. He's an ex-hippie, always on the lookout for his next vision. He's traveled the world from Northern Ireland to the Badlands of the Dakota. And Reed and I had quite a night last night. We ate and we talked and we laughed and we cried and we reminisced and we shared some of our story that we had forgotten. He told me, for example, that when I first showed up in Michigan at 1990, people thought I looked like the Xerox copy salesman. We had a table talk moment. Friendship, good food, speaking of faith, and about the things and the people in our lives that we love. Now, some people think that the world is going to hell in a handcart. And to be quite honest, some days I can't disagree. But every once in a while, we have a moment that reminds us of what truly matters. Like an old friend coming through town who needs a bed and a hot meal. Luther understood the importance of hospitality, of humor, and of the rousing experience of sharing a meal around a large table. And I sure wish that I could have more moments like that. Now, I know that a lot of you are weary, and a lot of you are fatigued by the current situation under which we are living. And I have the sense that a new school year is not going to minimize that stress. What we've been robbed of, and what we may let go of too easily, is the experience of genuine community and friendship found around a table. We miss the warmth of those moments. And you know what? Most of us can't afford to let anyone in our orbit right now. I understand that. We have to be careful. We ought to be careful. But still, if you live with anyone right now, you can have a table talk moment with them. Cook a meal, eat it together, tell a story, laugh together. Take out your earbuds, put down that weary smartphone, and laugh and talk together. Maybe even call up an old friend and reconnect with them. And by all means, if someone you know is coming through town and needs a place to stay and a warm meal for one night, say yes if you can. Reed left my place this morning with a pack full of venison sticks and a little box of oatmeal energy bites. But while he was here, maybe only about 15 hours, we had us a table talk moment. And he left happy, and I was happy too. Here at Celebration, we're doing everything we can, our very best every day, to respond thoughtfully and faithfully to the continuing changes around us. If you have an idea or a spark or an inspiration for ministry that's new in this time, please reach out to us. Let us know. We'd love to hear your dreams and your thoughts. And if you're tired, and if you're stressed right now, believe me, we get that, and we are with you. And when you're wondering what might fill your tank, remember, the Luther way was a table talk, to share a meal, to eat and laugh together. That's where community, life, and love really happen. And not surprisingly, that's where Jesus ended up. That's what he did. We would be wise to do the same. So here's to my old friend Reed Schroer. Here's to Martin Luther, to hospitality, to food. That's our heritage. You can look it up. The book is called Table Talk. Love you, Celebration. Have a wonderful, blessed day.